Hello everyone, this is Smriti again, DGT Science from SR International School. And the topic which we'll be learning today, or the topic which we'll be covering on today, is natural resources or water. Remember, I've written these two things separately because children in some of the textbooks, this chapter could be named by natural resources, and in some textbooks this can be there present as a name water. So when we start with the chapter, let's study something about natural resources first. So what are natural resources? As the name very well signifies, natural resources. Resources which are available for us, to us, in the natural form, and they occur in the nature all by themselves, all naturally. So let's discuss about natural resources and how many types of them do we have. Talking about the two types of natural resources, which are renewable and also your non-renewable resources. Yes, so when we talk of renewable, learn and try to divide the word into certain parts so that learning and understanding will become easier for you. Renewable resources, the resources which are able to renew itself. For example, sun, water, wind. We get solar energy from sun. Even wind provides us very powerful source of energy. Wind is also a very powerful source of energy. And when we talk of water, we all know about hydroelectricity, which is produced by using hydro, that is water. These all are the resources which we can use, and even we use them multiple times. For example, we use solar energy multiple times, we use water multiple times, even when we use wind multiple times. These resources do not get over with time. These resources can be utilized again and again. But when we talk of other resources such as petroleum, such as diesel, these all resources, or even coal and other relatable things, certain oils, these all resources, we use them, and it's been said that in coming near future, after certain years, we won't be able to get those resources because they will be completely diminished from earth, or you can say they will be completely extinct from earth. Therefore, these resources which we are using, but we cannot use them again for further use in our near future, they'll be termed as non-renewable sources of energy. I hope renewable and non-renewable sources are clear to everyone. Talking next about some other sources which are available to us naturally. Number one being air. Yes, air is present in the atmosphere in abundance. Even we would say that the layer of or a combination of air which surrounds the earth is called atmosphere. So when we talk of air, we say we have 78% of nitrogen present in the air, we say we have 21% of oxygen present in air, and remaining 0.03% we have carbon dioxide and other gases present in the atmosphere. Talking about we'll discuss each of this component like nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide as in what are their uses prominently in detail. Let's study about number first, that is oxygen. Oxygen is 21% and its major function we all are aware of. Basic use of oxygen present in the atmosphere is it's used for respiration. We breathe taking in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Least about carbon dioxide, we breathe using oxygen as, and it's the basic component which we use to survive and to live. Then one more function of carbon dioxide, if we learn about, is it helps in burning. We all know that. Talking next about nitrogen, that is 78% present in the atmosphere. Nitrogen do not helps in burning, nor it burns, neither it helps in burning, and therefore it's also called an inert gas. INERT, let me make my word clear, that is inert gas. Nitrogen being one of the gas, it helps in the growth of plants, right? In certain factors, you'll learn about them, and many of you must have already learned about it. Talking about one more importance of nitrogen gas, it's used in packaging packets like chips packet. When it gets manufactured from the industries and you see the chips packet fluffy kept in the shops, they are fluffed with the air inside it, and that air is nitrogen because nitrogen is a very good preservative, and thus it helps in keeping your chips fresh and crispy. Talking next about carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is one of the gas which is utilized by plants for photosynthesis and also for the breathing purpose, and even carbon dioxide gas is used as a fire extinguisher, right? Next, talking about the importance of air in soil. So when we talk about of how air is important for soil, we know soil is the basic component where plants they grow. So soil is actually porous. It has certain holes in it, right? These holes they contain air, and from here itself, roots of the plant they take in oxygen for their own survival. Therefore, that's how air is important for soil even. Next, we'll be learning about water and even its importances. Now, talking about water. 70% or 75% of earth is covered by water, but even then the amount of water that we get for our own personal use is very, very minimal. You can't even imagine how less of water is present on earth, despite the fact that earth in itself is known as a blue planet, because majority of the water is present in frozen forms. Least of water is available to us in oceans and seas, and that water is salty, not good for consumption. It's only a very little amount of water which is available for us, and that too, very sad to say, people often waste it. Therefore, this becomes one more alarming issue for all of us, and this gives us an alarm of not wasting water at all. So when we discuss about water, let's learn about from where all and what all are the resources from where we get water. It may be rainfall. Number one, rainfall, as we all know, comes down. The water coming down from the atmosphere, from the clouds to the earth is known as rainfall. Water may be available to us in the form of surface water. Surface water is the water which is like rivers, lakes, ponds, seas, oceans. That is all surface water. Some of it can be made pure or purified or filtered and then can be taken for use. Talking about next is underground water. Underground water, here comes the main point. When it rains, the water from the atmosphere, it comes down and seeps down the ground. When this water seeps down the ground, it gets stored beneath the ground, making a layer, and that water is known as groundwater. Also about groundwater, there is one more concept. The water which is stored in the ground. For example, this is the water which I have made. The water, when it falls down in the form of rainfall and it gets stored beneath here, I say this much is the level at which water is stored. So therefore, this will be known as aquifer. The area containing water, even underground, the level of water, for example, this is the ground level, here rainfall takes place. Therefore, from here till here, the water gets collected. So this much part will be known as aquifer, and the topmost layer of the aquifer will be known as water table. I hope underground water is clear to everyone. But okay, so when we talk of water table, remember always there are three things which lead to water table, or which when combined makes up your water table. Number one, evaporation or transpiration. Number two, condensation, and number three, precipitation. Now let's understand all three of them, join them together and make water table and learn water table instead. So yes, when we talk of evaporation, we all know the water from the lands, from the water bodies, they get evaporated due to heat and other reasons. Once they get evaporated, they go into the atmosphere. Now with evaporation, I even use the term transpiration. Transpiration is when excess water is being evaporated from the leaves of the plants into the atmosphere. So therefore, when this water gets evaporated from the land surface, water bodies, and even through transpiration, it goes up into the atmosphere. We all know the temperature here and there above is quite different. So therefore, when the water or this evaporated water form goes up into the atmosphere, it changes because the temperature is quite cooler there. It changes and there takes place condensation. Yes, now when this condensation takes place, these water droplets, they are condensed, or I would say they change again to water. When they become heavier, they fall down on the earth in the form which is called precipitation. Precipitation does not necessarily and always comes down in the form of rainfall. It can be in the form of rainfall, it can even come down in the form of hailstorms or snow and other relatable forms. With here, like when we are talking about water cycle, here when water cycle is complete, water cycle is complete. Like I said, when precipitation takes place, it again fills up your water bodies and like your land surface, and again then due to heat, it again goes up, evaporation, condensation, then precipitation, then again the whole cycle keeps on repeating itself, and that's what water cycle is all about. Then next we talk about how are clouds formed. I told you about evaporation, I told you when condensation takes place. So when this condensation takes place, these water droplets along with the tiny dust particles present in the atmosphere, they all get collected, and as they get collected, they become heavier. And basically before becoming heavier, if I talk about when they get collected, they all combine together, and that's what make your clouds, even some other gases. Now, when these clouds they become heavier due to condensed water filled in it, they come down on the earth, and that's how rainfall takes place. Coming to the last part of the chapter, that is, what if, have you ever imagined, children, what if it rains continuously for days and months and weeks and years? What will happen then? That would definitely arise a situation called floodings or floods. And as we know, when it rains continuously, it leads to an upliftment or an uprise in the level of water, resulting to flood. Now, flood will have its own circumstances or its own consequences. So the consequences of floods could be it would disrupt all personal and public transports, even communication lines would be disrupted. Excess of water will lead to so many spread of diseases, because it would clog your all the sewages, right? And therefore it will lead to many of the diseases. Even water everywhere would not lead even a single drop to drink, as we all know in the poem we read in English. Therefore these are and even more are the problems which would arise if it continues to rain for years to years or days to days. Next comes the condition when we can say that what will happen if it stops raining, if it does not rain for a year or 2 years or 3 years. That will definitely lead to a situation which is called drought. And drought will lead to again certain problems, that is no water, no potable water, no water to drink. Then it may even lead to no crops, no plants, because if there will be no water, even plants would die, the trees and plants would die, and there will be no chance for the growth of new plants and trees. As there will be no growth, no new plants and trees, no crops, there would be no food, and if there would be no food, animals would die of hunger, and even starvation would take place, and because of the starvation, humans would die, and this starvation would lead to great famine and even epidemics. So therefore it's always suggested to save water as much as you can. There are certain ways, including one which is a very famous one, and that is rainwater harvesting. It's even practiced in many other places. Rainwater is nothing, or rainwater harvesting is just nothing but just saving the water of rainfall and then using it for other purposes instead of letting it drain out. Similarly, we can save water by many other sources, many other ways, like switching off the tap when it's open for no use, utilizing like a bit of wastewater for other things which can be done, or other things which do not require extreme clean water. So therefore, children, here we come to an end of our chapter. Any problem if you have, please mention it in the comment section below. And also, if not, you are free and you're welcome to my lecture session. Thank you.